Get ready for the show. It's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, y'all? What up, Carlos? Yeah, they going hard on these WNBA refs, and they deserve it. They deserve it. I am watching the end of the finals. Looks like Indianapolis is about to go down. Pacers are down 93-81. Halliburton is out. Tyrese looks like he tore his Achilles. So he is out, but I was about to make a video going into tomorrow, but I was like, you know what? I'm lazy. I don't feel like editing. So I'll just go live. I ain't even make a damn thumbnail, nothing. I just clicked the button and went live. I had just finished my animations today for I did Kayla McBride. What did I do? I did Kayla McBride, Lord have mercy, Nika Agumake, and Sonia Citron. So all three of them had great games this weekend. Kayla McBride went off yesterday. But the one thing I want to get into right now, just watching the end of the finals. They about to go crazy in OKC. Congratulations to them. Probably would have been a different scenario, maybe a different ending if Halliburton didn't get hurt. However, this is just proof. With Halliburton going down, you see the clear difference with Indiana, with the Pacers. You know the difference between a player and a star. Very easy to see. You see the difference between a player and a star. Nobody on Indiana's team can keep up. Who's the next go-to guy? Who's the next person that's going to rise to the next level and take over a game, put everybody on their shoulders and win a game for you? They don't have that. They don't have that guy with Tyrese out. You got a bunch of players. You got a bunch of guys that's pretty good, and then you got Halliburton that's clearly above everybody else. And it is so easy to see now. You think guys that play football, baseball, basketball, even the women in the W, all of them are good. Don't get it twisted. But how many of them can just like do something extraordinary, right? Even for the people that don't like Angel Reese. And here's the one thing about Angel Reese, right? Last year as a rookie, Angel Reese averaged a double-double. And this year, how come I'm seeing all of these 4, 5, 6-year veterans getting their first double-double this year? And she averaged a double-double as a rook. So people want to kind of poo-poo it and say it ain't no big deal. Everybody can get one. Well, if everybody was getting one, there wouldn't be so many veterans getting it for the first time. So anybody that want to trash on Angel because she doing what she doing. I mean, I know Chicago is having a rough spot right now, but that's a totally different conversation. But I'm just talking about people that because they don't like Angel, they want to call it trash and all that type of stuff. And it's like, man, you got to, like, people just forget how supremely difficult it is to play at the highest level. I think they do. I think people have gotten so used to playing 2K and Madden that they think it's really just that easy as something that you can do on a controller. And it's like, man, there's so much that goes into it. It's so much that goes into it, man. And again, this game right now, it is 87-98. So you're talking about an 11-point lead, a minute 26 left. Indiana ain't going to pull this out. OKC is winning the game 7 at home, and they're going to celebrate down in Oklahoma City. But it is a clear difference between a player and a star. Kayla McBride went off yesterday. 29 points, 9 for 13 on the floor, 5 for 7 from deep, a rebound and assist. Um, she played the whole damn thing yesterday, and she got busy when Fee was off the court. Now, she is not as good as Fee Collier is. Collier is the best player in basketball right now. And I say right now because the argument is, what about Asia? Asia is still the best player in the WNBA. However, comma, Fee Collier is playing at the best right this present, right at this present moment. Fee Collier is the best player in the WNBA. But she's hurt, and Kayla stepped up. Who's stepping up for the other teams? Sonia Citron went off today. The rook, all these rooks are showing y'all they belong. And it's putting a lot of these, it should be putting a lot of the vets on notice. You know what I mean? Should be putting a lot of the vets on notice. Sonia Citron, 27 points, 9 for 13, 4 for 7 from deep, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. She filled up all the stats. All of them. I mean, Andrew, that's your prerogative, bro. I am not here to convince you one way or the other. Your opinion is yours. I am not here to convince anybody. That is my pick right now. Fee Collier is the best player in the league right now, not Breanna Stewart. And I would go with Sabrina Ionescu right now before I would go Breanna Stewart. Sabrina Ionescu is getting it done. Breanna Stewart is playing well, but Ionescu is the go-to, in my opinion, for New York right now, especially with Jonquel out. She is misproduction. So, but I ain't mad at you. If you like Stewie, I ain't mad at you. Yeah, Carlos, I'm with you. Fee is on some other stuff right now. And that's not to say Asia finally came into her own in the second half today against Indiana. But the Fever look another wasted effort for Aaliyah Boston. Again, if Aaliyah Boston could ever stay out of foul trouble, she would be MVP candidate right now. She was playing well, and they just couldn't hitting shots and conversions at the other side. And they're about to go crazy. 32 seconds left in OKC. They pumping up the crowd, and they know it's over. It's been over, really. So, but you already know. Yeah, Sonia Citron had a double-double today, and then she is the game winner in overtime to lock it up. So rookies are not playing like rookies. And I'm really hoping that this has been Sonia Citron's first real game where people would say, okay, she's a contestant for Rookie of the Year. Because before it was Kiki, and Kiki has been playing well, but this is Sonia's breakout game. Now I'm hoping that Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen don't cancel each other out. And then Paige is back there in the corner by herself down in Texas doing what she doing. Paige is, if nothing else, Paige had that one breakout game where she dropped 36 points, I think it was. But she's been consistent. She had that peak one game, and now she's back down to earth. But her back down to earth is still anywhere between 15 to 25 points a game, somewhere in there. And she's distributing, and she's getting the stat sheets together right now. So Paige had 20 points tonight, 7 for 17, 1 for 4 from 3. Arike went off tonight, 8 for 20. That's really not going off. She just Arike just went off, and she just took a lot of shots. 8 for 20. That's a lot of shots. 3 for 9 from deep. That's a lot of shots. That's a lot of shots. And they still lost. They still lost. Paige and Isaiah James, plus the only plus is on the floor. Kayla Charles, Lee Giroux, Babyface Giroux. That's my favorite, one of my favorite players. Babyface Giroux. All right, it's officially over. 19 seconds. Run the clock out. Don't do nothing stupid. Let's go to the party. Yeah, Phillies won the series, Carlos. I'm gonna get into that a little bit. Um, yeah, Wody Mac, you already know SGA. They're gonna be talking about him. But you know what? They won the chip. So guess what? Glaze away. Glaze away, man. Krispy Kreme glaze if you have to. Because he won. Listen, when you do what you gotta do, you get what you're supposed to get. A lot of people will disagree, but they can't take away that hardware. So it is what it is, man. Congrats to OKC. Halliburton, I say this all the time. It doesn't matter what sport. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay healthy. That's it. That's it. So congrats to OKC. They win the NBA Finals. SGA gets a chip, gets the hardware, gets the ring. And that Tyrese Halliburton coming off of a torn Achilles, he got a long way to go next year. And he played so well for 99.5% of the season. That 0.5, whenever he tore his Achilles in this game, that's the 0.5 they needed. And they couldn't get. Nobody else could come through when Tyrese went out. Nobody else is a star. That's when you figure out what you got. So, yeah, he balled out. So we'll see what they do. Seattle Storm got a lucky win today. Whatever, Andrew. I know how you do. I know how you feel. But everybody balled out today, man. The Valks is still winning. Valks trashed Connecticut today. Connecticut, they scored 20. Their best quarter was the first quarter. They scored 20. Then they scored 12 in the second, 13 in the third, and 18 in the fourth. 63-87. Valkyrie, they 6-6. Anissa Monroe had a pretty decent game today for Connecticut. Tina Charles with 9 points. Bria Hartley with 7. J.C. Sheldon with 10 points. She was 3 for 8. What was J.C. Sheldon? Let me see. J.C. Sheldon, what did she do today? Let me see where her shots came from. Okay, she hit a 3 today. All right. And then she must have got to the line and hit a couple of free throws. She only hit two jumpers. She hit a 3 in the mid-range. If she ever learned how to shoot with her defense, she gonna be good. But yeah, I saw that, Andrew. I didn't hear how long it was. Sprained ankle. Yeah, she rolled it pretty good today, didn't she? So, no, you do not want a speedy recovery. That's why she got hurt again. Trying to come back too soon and trying to do too much. Take your time. Take your time. When Caitlin Clark got hurt and we got Ari McDonald, and Ari McDonald was playing like she was, that let Indiana take your time, get well, do what you got to do. Don't rush it back, and that comes into play. So, Halliburton, he pushed it as far as he could possibly push it, and then he zigged when he should have zagged, and he went down. Injuries, man, injuries. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay healthy. Man, I can't say it enough. It doesn't matter how good a team you have. If you are not healthy, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What do we do? Indiana tonight. Indiana, as bad as they played in the fourth quarter, still had opportunities to try to take that game back, and they couldn't do it. I got to figure out what Indiana's conversion rate is. They have been. I don't even know if that's a real stat. I'm saying it. I'm using that word when I say conversion, and what I mean is they when they get a stop on defense, or they get a block, or they get a shot clock violation, or whatever. If they prevent the other team from scoring, when they're on offense on the other side of the court, do they score? To me, that's a conversion. Now maybe they keep stats for that, but or they call it something else. I don't know yet. I got to figure that out. But to me, when it comes to all of the teams, that is the difference between winning and losing. When you get a stop on defense on the other end of the court, do you put the ball in the basket? And Indiana was not doing that. Aaliyah Boston, a wasted effort. Aaliyah Boston had a great game today. D'd up Asia Wilson pretty good. I mean, slowed her down. Asia gonna get hers. So I thought Aaliyah Boston did a great job. Asia Wilson was 8 for 21 from the floor. Asia Wilson wasn't shooting many jump shots. She was not shooting a lot of jump shots. Look at that. But look at all of this in the paint. Look at all of this. 6 shots she missed in the paint. That's good defense. She only took one mid-range shot. Everything, 1, 2, 3 mid-range shots. Everything else was in the paint. Backboard depth, that's inside of 6 feet. So Aaliyah Boston played a great game defensively against Asia Wilson. You're not going to stop her. You can only hope to contain her. And Aaliyah Boston did as good as she could possibly do. And it was for a wasted effort because they couldn't figure out what the hell to do in the fourth quarter. Because now they finally got over the hump with their third quarters. And now it's the fourth quarter that's the bugaboo. They got to be able to put all of this stuff together if they call themselves going to make a run in the playoffs. What's up, RC Iowa? Appreciate you. Yeah. New York, like I just said, got to stay healthy, man. Got to stay healthy. Um, yeah. You got some out of Kelsey Mitchell. You finally got a decent 3-point day out of Kelsey Mitchell. She was 3 of 6. But Caitlin Clark, and remember when it comes to Caitlin Clark, she did the same thing last year. She went through a slump. She had a couple games where she was 2 for 12 or whatever it was. Her 3-point deep shots. She hasn't been the same since she returned and had that game where she was red hot and hitting everything from the logo. And she ain't been the same since. She ain't had that same rhythm yet. Now, at least she was smart enough to go, to tackle the ground game. But Asia Wilson was down there waiting in the weeds. Asia Wilson was smidacking everybody's stuff. How many blocks did she have today? 3, 4? Asia Wilson had 2 blocks. I thought she had 3. Okay, she had 2 blocks. So she was getting in there. She was getting it done. But like I said, wasted effort. Caitlin Clark was 7 for 20 for the night, 1 for 10 from 3. Aaliyah Boston, 12 for 19. 12 for 19. 26 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and a wasted effort. No, I don't. Did anybody say anything about her injury when she dropped 32 or whatever it was the other day? No. So I'm not. She don't get no excuse for that. She is not making her shots. Period. That is the bane of being a volume shooter. We were saying the same thing about Kelsey Mitchell 2 games ago. She couldn't hit a 3-pointer, and she finally came out of that slump today, shooting 50% from 3. Caitlin Clark is going through that same thing, but she's smart enough. She got a double-double today, distributing the ball, doing it that way. She got to find a way, and she's got to go to that faster. The one thing that I'm still upset about, Lexi Hall, 1 for 2. Why is Lexi Hall? Lexi Hall should have as many, if not more, 3-point shots than Kelsey Mitchell. Lexi Hall is she the top 3-point shooter in the league? Assists, blocks, rebounds. Um, 3 pointers made. Caitlin Clark is leading in 3 pointers made. But let's look at the complete leaders. And Kayla McBride is up there. Looking good. Damn, Kayla McBride is shooting 44% right now from three. Lexi Hall is in second place. Kennedy Burgers got her by 0.5 points. 56.8. Lexi Hall is 56.3. And Tahina Pow is on a tear right now. She's on her way up the ladder. So Lexi Hall is the second best 3-point shooter in the WNBA. At 56%. 56.3%. And she's only getting 1 and 2 shots a game. She should be the number 2 option for shooting threes, in my opinion. She should be the number 2 option. It should go Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell. Matter of fact, you might have to put Kelsey Mitchell higher. Nah, because she's coming off that slump. No. So it'd be Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is shooting 35%. So that's better, but still, you can't go 1 for 10. Kelsey Mitchell is low. Kelsey Mitchell is next to last. She's 48 out of 49. 26.8%. So Kelsey Mitchell got to get it going. She has to get it going. She's got to get it going. RC Iowa says, that's why I'm asking. Any situation will have Caitlin. I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know. Move myself around. I don't know what they're gonna do. You can only shoot your way out of that, bro. That's all you can do is shoot your way out of it. So, steady dosage of layups and mid-range area shot diet for Caitlin, especially if the 3 ball continues to be cold. Listen, the same thing happened last year. And one of my gripes for her last year was she didn't shoot enough mid-range shots. She's a little bit better with that this year, but she does a great job penetrating. Her passing was off the charts today, even though a couple of them got loose and she ended up getting called for the turnover, but she threw some great passes today and they just couldn't handle them. Now, sometimes she goes to the well one too many times, especially when they're trying to go up high to Aaliyah Boston. And Aaliyah Boston, as good as a game she had, she's still having trouble keeping them rebounds. People stealing rebounds from her. So, Darren, who's my player of the weekend? It would have to be either Sonia Citron or Kayla McBride. So those are my. I mean, if I got to pick 3, I did 3 shot charts today. So Sonia Citron, Kayla McBride, Nneka Ogwumike. You know what? It would have to be Nneka. It would have to be Nneka. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that line right there. Look at that. 2 steals. Look at that line right there. 26 points, 12 for 17 from field goals, 2 for 5 from 3, 7 rebounds, assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And that's the 3rd game in a row she done had like 27, 28 points. The 3rd game in a row. So actually, those are my 3, pro fan players of the week. Kayla McBride, Sonia Citron, and Nneka Ogwumike. But the winner, Darren, to answer your question, would have to be Nneka Ogwumike. She's been last 3 games. She has been on a tear. Let me see if I can find that. Aces, Fever, Sun, Sparks, Mystics. Hold on. Where did it go? Did I lose it? I think I did. Hold on. Seattle. There we go. Seattle. So let's look at box scores. So let's do that, and let's get Nika Agumike, and then let's go recent games. Let's see all. All right, look at her most recent games. Uh, against New York, 26 points. And that was today. Friday, 25 points against Las Vegas. Tuesday, 26 points against LA. And then she kind of had a stinker against Golden State. Minnesota, she dropped 21. So the last three games, dude, the last three games, that's what, 77 points in three games? 77 points in three games. She's on a tear. So, yeah, Darren, my player of the week would have to be Nika Agumike for sure. She's ridiculous right now. Boston kind of. Boston? The New York Liberty are better than the Seattle Storm. Yeah, they are, but they lost. Um, listen, man, injuries are a part of the game. So not an excuse, it's a fact. Ooh, I know it isn't a possible question, but what could the Chicago Sky do to save their season? Fire Jeff P immediately. He sabotaged the team for the last 2 years. He got rid of Teaspoon. Um, I didn't think he should have got rid of Kennedy Carter, but I understand. I understand. Because they could use a point guard like Kennedy Carter right now. But when your track record outweighs your talent, that's a problem. And you get what you get. But let's keep it a buck. They need Kennedy Carter right now, or somebody like that. Ariel Atkins ain't getting it done. And Haley Van Lith, I don't think she's it. I don't think she's it. I was like, play Haley Van Lith, let her start, let her take her lumps, and let her get through the rookie headache. She got to get through it. So I'm like, you might as well play her because she can't do no worse than Rachel Banham. So go ahead and play her. But I don't think that's the answer. I think they need to get rid of Jeff P. He sabotaged it. He shouldn't have fired Teaspoon. He should have gave her at least a second year. Even when Angel Reese plays well, they're not getting much from anybody else. Camila Cardoso, I think Camila is a mental is not the right word. She's not having mental issues. What I think is, I don't even know if intimidated is the right word, but I've seen a couple of times where I'm watching Camila Cardoso down low, and she'll just sit there and watch when Angel Reese comes and get a rebound. And to me, that's a personality thing. Because y'all already know, um, my rules about, she got big girls disease. Camila Cardoso has big girls disease, meaning she's used to being the biggest person in the gym, so she don't jump, especially when you're playing with other girls. She really don't jump. If you looked at Camila Cardoso, she's probably got a very, very small vertical leap. 10, 15 inches, maybe. So I thought she would be much better, especially after the season she had when she playing overseas in China. She was doing work over there, and it hasn't translated. So I don't know if they're not giving her the ball. She's had a couple of games where they played Twin Towers with both of them, and they lost the other day, and both of them had double doubles. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? So to answer your question, man, I don't know. I don't know. They got to get rid of Jeff P. And Tyler Marsh is not. He was the wrong answer. He was the wrong answer because he's not getting it done. He's not getting it done. So, um, for me, Tyler Marsh has got to midway. If you haven't seen any type of improvement by the halfway point by 20 games, he might end up getting the axe. Because what you at least want to see, and this is a fair marker with Tyler Marsh is, can they be at least at the same place they was with Teresa Weatherspoon? If they have a worse record than Teaspoon had at the same point in time last year, if at the midway point, I don't know what their record was last year at the halfway point, but if he can't even achieve that, what are they going to do? I don't know. So, if I was the man sitting in the sky that can make them decisions, I would. Let me say it like this, and let me be realistic for a second. It is easy to say get rid of Jeff P and Tyler Marsh. What it is not easy to do is figure out who the replacement is. Because if you fire Jeff Pagliaccia, who is the new GM? Who's going to come in and take his place? And how much better is he going to do in a situation like this? That's the question. If you get rid of Tyler Marsh, who's his replacement? Do you take somebody off the staff? Is somebody off the staff? Are they really going to make a difference? I don't know. Do they have to grin and bear it to the end of the year? That's the question. Because it's easy to say they got to fire Jeff, they got to fire Tyler Marsh. Who's the replacement? They gonna pull Lisa Leslie and give her a shot? I think they would still be in the same boat. So you got to be careful when saying that. It's like, yes, they know. And how much did people think they were going to be able to do anything? They traded away the pick, and Jeff P done basically made Chicago 3 years away instead of one because they traded a pick for next year. And then you don't know what's going to happen, in 27. You don't know. So get rid of Jeff P, but who's his replacement? I don't know. I don't know. I got a strong feeling that Austin Kelly's going to get a lot of looks after what he's done, with Stephanie White sitting out and things of that nature. He's getting a lot of really good experience coaching. And he seems to be someone that can handle his own. So we'll see. So we shall see. What's up, Wody Mac? I take maybe it, but if Steph White gets bounced in the playoffs, she gonna take a longer personal day to a new coach replacement. Nah, I doubt it. I doubt it. They gotta stick with her. They gotta stick with her. She's proven she can handle it. She's from Indiana, so um, at least somebody's got to be looking at um, the situation in Chicago and saying, "Hey, we're not going to do that." Unless they go on a 10-game losing streak or something like that. Then you might have a case for it, but and then you could, she could chalk it up to the personal issues or whatever, but I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I think Stephanie White's a good coach. I think Indiana's issues is not Stephanie White. I think even though sometimes last year Christy Sides was her own worst enemy, in my opinion. However, some of those games that Indiana lost were not on Christy Sides. They just weren't. And you can it's the same situation with Chicago. You can put a lot of blame on Tyler Marsh, but if you missing shots, Tyler Marsh ain't responsible for that. You can put blame on Stephanie White, but if Caitlin Clark is 1 for 10, that ain't on Stephanie White. So I'm very leery in doing that. And I know that's my bias from my experience playing pro ball and things of that nature, because it doesn't matter what sport. I played in the NFL. Um, Coaches don't coach mistakes. You get out there on the field, you run the wrong play, you fumble the ball, or you don't practice that in practice. That's not on the coaches. You can't, there's nothing you can do about that. It happens. The guys on the other side of the ball get paid too. And people got to keep that in mind. It is supremely difficult to win in a league, in a professional league. It's ridiculous. And people just like I said earlier, man, people think it's Madden. People think it's 2K25. Like you can just go and as long as you match the A button at the right and your timing is right, you can hit the jumpers as much as you. Come on, man! It is supremely difficult. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but anytime you have an adversity, you got to come up with a solution that works, and that's how long does it take to come up with that solution? That's the question. That's the question. I hear you, but what he has done warrants fired, regardless of whose replacement is a secondary. It's not about winning at this point. Um, I mean, you talking about Marsh? That would be a like, hey, whoever the GM is this is not acceptable. We got to get a winning. It's and see that's the thing I was saying about like it's easy to say let's just get rid of him. Just get rid of him. You got to fire him. You got to. Who are you going to bring in? Like I don't think people really understand what happens. I've been a part of that where the coach got fired before. My first year in the World League, the coach that we had got fired before we played a game because some of the shit he was doing was bananas, and we still ended up last place. So sometimes that doesn't necessarily work. Like, if you fire a coach or if you fire a GM, what is your ultimate plan? It can't be just, well, we got to get somebody to replace them. Well, who are you going to replace them? And what are those prerequisites? Are you looking for somebody that's got experience? Does somebody with experience want to coach for Chicago? That's the other team. Somebody got to say yes. And if you get to a situation where the only people that are saying yes are the people that you don't want, then you really got a problem. Then you really got a problem. Now, I've floated around the idea of like Lisa Leslie or somebody like that, but let me be crystal clear. When Lisa Leslie made that play to be a coach in the W, I didn't like it, and I thought she sounded real entitled because she came off like I need somebody to give me this opportunity because I'm me. That's how it came across to me. And my sentiment was, well, what about all the people that's been putting in work? Regardless of how Tyler Marsh is performing now, Tyler Marsh put in work. Tyler Marsh went to the interviews. Tyler Marsh had some experience coaching and doing some things in preseason. And just like Austin Kelly, when Stephanie White steps out, he's gaining valuable experience. That's what Tyler Marsh had down in Las Vegas, coaching with Becky Hammond. So he was around the right people. But for some reason, it's not manifesting the way you want it to. So what do? Who's going to bring that back? And then you got to look at the pieces you have on the court. Is Chicago really a good team? Do you have players that you can build around? Can you build around um, Angel Reese playing down low, picking up all the rebounds and the me bounds and all of that kind of stuff? Because she's been up and down. She's had some really good games and she's had a couple stinkers. Hasn't made a difference. They still losing. Like I said the other day, both of them, Angel and Camilla, had double doubles, and they still lost. So, my favorite phrase. Tyler Marsh does not shoot one jump shot in the game. He doesn't take a foul. He doesn't set picks. He doesn't hit his free throws. He doesn't make passes. At some point in time, the women on the court got to take it upon themselves to get it done, however that manifests, however that happens. They got to figure out a way of how to get it done. Easier said than done as well. Angel, if Angel gets a new coach, she would have had 3 different coaches in her first 3 years in the league. Absolutely, bro. I'm in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. I'm a former Philadelphia Eagle, so um, I am invested in the Philadelphia Eagles, and I watched what Jalen Hurts went through his first 5 years in the league, getting different offensive coordinators, couldn't keep the same coach, and he still went to the Super Bowl and won it. So if anybody understands that, I understand it. But listen, it costs to be the boss. It costs to be the boss. When Ariel Atkins gave that post game talking about she wears a heavy crown, I'm like, hey, if you the star, you got what you wanted. That's my only gripe with Angel Reese. I don't care if she gets me bounds or rebound. I don't care about all of that. I don't care if they were off her misses. When I look in the stat sheet, it says rebound. It doesn't say it was her miss or it's either offensive rebound or defensive rebound. I don't care how she got it. But I don't want people to be a caretaker for her. She's supposed to be a star. And this is what comes with that. Being a star. The criticism. And to me, that's where some of the people, some of the players in the W, I think that's where they missed the mark. Like, they're not exempt from this. Do people go over the line? Yes. But tell me what professional sport where they don't. Doesn't exist. Everybody got something to say in the social media era. So ain't nothing you can do about that. I asked a legitimate question. I saw her the money she makes off the t-shirts with the me bounds and the rebounds and all that type of stuff, she's giving that money to some organization to help fight cyberbullying. And my question is, I would legitimately like to know how you go about fighting cyberbullies. How does one go? What's the step by step for that? Because as far as I'm concerned, you can't. The only thing you can do is just not engage. It's the old War Games movie. Remember the Matthew Broderick movie? The only winning move is not to play. And I don't understand. And this is where the women in W, I guess they think they're exempt from all of the bullshit that all of the other sports get. So they just expect it not to happen. I saw the other day, Kelsey Plum was going to work out or whatever. She was with the team, and the dude was trying to get him to sign autographs. And it's like, welcome to being a pro. Welcome to being visible. Welcome to all of these fans. That's the stuff that you're going to get. All you got to do is say no and keep it moving. Anybody that's ever been in that situation, you know what that dude was. He was a collector. He's trying to get something signed so he could cash in and get. I ain't mad at him for that. That's the hustle. If you don't want to partake, just say no. Don't get a guy a speech. Low key. She must have said that about 30 times. You ain't got to give him a speech. Only thing you got to say is no and keep it moving. If you don't want to sign, don't sign. You ain't got to stay there and listen to what he got to say, but you ain't used to that type of visibility. You ain't used to that type of pressure. And now when you get it, you don't like it. It comes with the territory. This is the bullshit that comes with it. You got to learn how to play the game, but the game ain't fair. Say that all the time. The WNBA women need to learn how to play the game. That girl, McCautry, what she said about Haley Van Lith. The only reason she got drafted was because her social media following, because she had clout. I was like, no, she did not just say this. And sure enough, 2 days later, she walking it back. She moonwalking. She went to the Cheryl Swoop School of Broadcasting or something. I don't know. It just didn't make sense. Why would you say something like that? Even if you believed it, why would you shit on somebody trying to make it happen? If you don't think she get any good, that's fine. But to go there with it, nah. And then she wanna give some type of off the wall apology. Like that's what she like. You said exactly what you meant. You said exactly what you was thinking. Uh, Ain't nothing else to it. You said it. Live with it. Stand on it. And keep it moving. But the minute you backtrack, you know you shouldn't have said it. If you can be, oh my god, Coach, did I have to sign autographs? Yes, we did that. I'm not a big name. I'm a, you know, um, I was with the Eagles. I was a running back. I didn't get to play. I made the squad. Me, Herschel Walker. I played with Randall Cunningham. I played with Hall of Famer Eric Allen. He was my teammate. Vi Sikahema, the guy that punched the goalpost in New York. Vi Sikahema, I played with. He was my teammate. You know, I played with the Fridge, William Refrigerator Perry. So I played with some guys, and I signed some autographs, going to different functions, and um, you go to charity basketball games, you sign the kids' T-shirts. I've been to a few functions where I signed, but my name wasn't big enough. But even with that, yes, I did. So that's that comes with being a pro. Period. And now, back when I played, if you would have, if you because remember back when I played, uh, I don't think Madden had happened. I think that we were on the second generation of Madden, second or third generation of. Let me see, what year did Madden come out? What year did Madden football come out? I want to say 90. Yep, 1990 on the Apple II. So at least 1988. Okay, so that was my senior year in high school on the Commodore 64, and then on the Sega Genesis in 1990. So my rookie year was 93. So we were in the third or fourth generation of Madden on Genesis. So it wasn't, and I'm saying all that to say you didn't have all of the hype. You had the hype, but it was more focused because it wasn't so many distractions. So, um, you know, I remember going to first time cashing my game check at the bank, and I rode to the bank with Randall Cunningham, and I was happy that I had my little check, rookie minimum, and all that type of stuff. And Randall's weekly pay was like 70 grand. This was in 1993. 70 grand a week is what he made. So, that kind of puts stuff in perspective. But, you know, he was Randall. He was the ultimate weapon. But yeah, I went on a rant on that one. But they gotta as far as the women in the W, they gotta figure out you know, how to deal with this and how to navigate this. If you don't want to deal with something, just say no and keep it moving. Who was the top NFL star in 93 and 94? Probably Randall Cunningham, Troy Aikman, because Dallas was kicking everybody's ass at that particular time. Joe Montana was still big. Um, the top NFL star. It would probably have to have been. Would probably have to have been. I would say Troy Aikman. I would say the Dallas crew because Dallas was at that particular time, late '80s, early '90s. Dallas was nasty, nasty. Larry Allen. They had that defense. Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmett Smith. Um, they just had some beasts. They could Jimmy Johnson. He was that good. He was that good. Um, so yeah, it was it was uh it was a different time back then. But um, hold on, Albert. I didn't even see your comment. Hold on. I said it before. Stephanie White is a mediocre coach, and her record at Vanderbilt University was 46-83 overall, with a 1354 record in the SEC. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. What I'll say to that is, um, at Vanderbilt, and even you saying Vanderbilt, how many superstar players did she have at Vanderbilt? Like, name me one player that you could rattle off that anybody would know from Vanderbilt. And the reason I'm saying that is because you look at somebody like Pat Summitt, you look at somebody like Dawn Staley, you look at somebody like Gino Auriemma. How many names can you rattle off that have gone on to play in the WNBA, Hall of Fame, Olympics, all of that type of stuff? Where you coach, if you don't come across no stars, you might not ever win anything. She may have been doing good to get to that 46 wins. So, I mean, and let me say it like this: you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But let's see what she can do with um, a superstar and Caitlin Clark and another superstar. Do you realize she has two of the top scorers in NCAA history, women's history? Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark is number one. Kelsey Mitchell, I believe, is number four all time in NCAA history in scoring on the same team. So, and you got a national champion with Aaliyah Boston. So let's see what she does with a superstar. That's all I'm saying. Vi took him and punching. Yeah, man. That's my dude, Vi. Punching the goalpost. Yes, sir. Um, eh, I mean, hey, that's your opinion, bro. That will play itself out one way or the other. That's what I like to say. It's gonna play itself out one way or the other. So, um, but again, if you look at some of the turnovers that Indiana had, I'm not blaming that on Stephanie White. I'm not going to blame Stephanie White because Kelsey Mitchell is so fast that when she goes for a layup, a lot of times she misses because she's so fast. That's not Stephanie White's fault. Was it Stephanie White's fault when Caitlin Clark hit three threes in 38 seconds? Was that her fault then? No. So when she takes those same threes but misses, that can't be Stephanie White's fault either. That's what I mean when I say Stephanie White can't shoot jumpers. The coaches cannot play. They cannot play. Now, if you get to the end of the game and you draw up a bullshit inbound play to get the last shot off or something like that, then we can have that conversation. But if your squad is making bad passes, if they're missing open shots, if they're missing shots in the paint, if they can't convert off turnovers and defensive stops, you're going to get what you get. That's not on Stephanie White. What's on Stephanie White is not taking the time out at the right time, not challenging when you should challenge, you know, things like that, not making any halftime adjustments when your team is down, come out with something a little bit different. So that's that's Stephanie White's task. So when Lexi Hall is not shooting, that's not Stephanie White. Natasha Howard shoots a three and misses, that's not Stephanie White. When Dewana Bonner gives up two shot clock violations, that's not Stephanie White. They don't practice that. You know you're supposed to shoot the ball. You know you're supposed to watch the clock. All of that comes into play. Those are prerequisites. And you, now speaking specifically about DeWanna Bonner, as a 13-year vet or however long she's been in the league, you should know that. That ain't. I'm not gonna blame that on Stephanie White. You should know that. How much do you blame college coaches not joining the WNBA, making the NBA WNBA have average coaches? Listen, it is what it is. And why would you go somewhere and take a pay cut to deal with more headache? Because that's what it comes down to. Most of these coaches will take a pay cut, and then they got to deal with the headache of whatever it is that you get. Here's the question: who would want to take the headache that is the Chicago Sky job? Who would want that? Somebody that don't have nothing to lose. That's who would want it. And then whoever that person is, are they a good coach? Because that's the bad part of Chicago right now. Chicago is probably going to get rid of Tyler Marsh. Then you got to find his replacement. Then it's like, is that who you wanted, or is that who you had to settle for? Is that the only one that will walk through the door? It was Christy Size the only coach that really wanted to deal with Indiana, because Indiana hadn't had a winning season in years before Christy Size got there, and then they only had like five. Then they only had like 5 wins that one season. So Christy Size, who wants that job? Who wants that headache? You don't get paid a lot of money, and you got to deal with what you got to deal with. So again, firing somebody, that sounds great, but who you gonna replace them with? That's the question. Nicholas, I ain't worried about them. I ain't worried about them. You know, you're gonna get people that do that anyway. So again, the only way to move is not to play. So I just ignore people like that. You know, I take issue with people when they calling them stands. I'm like, well, what am I? I like Caitlin Clark, but I criticize, and I try to keep it a buck. But you know, what category do I fit in? But so I don't get into all of that, man. You either it's become very easy to tell who is a real fan and who is not. It is very easy to tell who watches tape and who does not. It is very easy to tell who actually watches the games and who does not. If you was making WNBA content last year and you were talking about when Chinity Carter knocked down Caitlin Clark, I don't want to hear from you. If you ain't even got the smarts to pronounce the girl's name right, you're not paying attention. Period. You're not paying attention. So I'm not trying to hear from you. So if you still calling her Paige Buchers, you're not paying attention. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you. So it's very easy to tell who does what these days, because everybody's not. You got a lot of people, a lot of content creators that are just making shit just to stir up shit. There's active sites now, and I've taken a conscious effort to avoid them and to not watch their content, so I don't give them any pub, don't give them any likes. All they do is they use AI to write a script, and what they do is they pull clips from other people's site and they make their own stuff, and it's the best parts of other people's content, and it's like, and then they put the slick voice on it, the AI voice on it, so it basically becomes a faceless channel. And it's like, how do these assholes get all of the vibes? I don't. They get all the traffic. I don't get that. I don't get it. So I did not see that. I did not see that. I don't know what the deal is with Bonner. I don't know. She missing her wife. I don't know what the deal is with that. But listen, it is very clear that whenever there's an argument or a coach and a player don't get along, they file it under, they took some mental days, they took some time off for personal reasons. Most guys, we don't deal with that in like football and stuff like that. You gotta work your way through it. Like, come on, like, yo, we got a game next week. We got to get through this shit. Let's hash it out in film session. So that's different. That's different. Men aren't used to seeing that. Men aren't used to seeing uh, women play on the same team as their spouses. Not used to seeing that. So I don't know, and I'm saying all that to say I don't know what DeWanna Bonner's issue is. I do not know. So if she scrubbed her account of all Indiana Fever stuff, I don't know. Why did she do that? She was playing well the last couple games. She had decent games. So what's the deal? She can't handle coming off the bench. Is that it? Well, if she can't handle coming off the bench, then maybe we don't need her. That's just me. So I'm sure we'll find out something. And you know what? It's not for Stephanie to tell us. It's almost like that episode in Ted Lasso when old boy got the red card when he went in the stands. And Roy Kent was like, as to why he did it, it's none of our fucking business. So I don't know. Joey Taylor could not pronounce Marina Mabry's name right. Yeah, she don't. I mean, it's easy to tell that people that don't watch. And listen, I've called people on ESPN that clearly didn't watch, and I'm talking about NFL. I'm not even talking about W. People that report on the NFL, and you could tell they didn't. It was a game last year in 24. With this was before Trey Lance got traded. Trey Lance was still with San Francisco. He was playing in a preseason game, and they do those blurbs when they run in a commercial. They give you like the 30-second update of all the games. So they just rapid fire information on all the games. And Trey Lance had a rough first half, came out in the second half, and ended up winning the game for San Francisco. Had a great game, took him on a long drive for the win. But the dude that was reading the news report made it sound like Trey Lance was stinking up the joint. And I was like, clearly he didn't watch the game. Or he would have known that Trey Lance had just won the game for San Francisco, throwing the ball. So people, you want to call it a narrative, call it whatever you want, but I know people don't watch. Everybody don't watch. You got people that don't watch and just want to say something. You got people that don't even think for a minute that all of them people on ESPN or Fox Sports or NFL Network or whatever, you think they really have time to watch all of those games? Hell no. They got a crew of people running around, pulling stats, typing up stuff, and shoving information in front of their face to make them look good. They don't watch all them damn games. They ain't got enough time, not enough hours in the day. So, but yeah. So I'm gonna this is a good conversation, actually. We've been rolling for an hour. That's long enough for me. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. Been a long day. Might have me some coffee, ice cream, or something. But I wanted to get on here because I didn't feel like editing. So I figured I'd go live. So I appreciate everybody jumping in with me. And do me a favor, tell all your friends to subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm on a personal goal. I'm trying to get to the point where I can get 100 people in the stream. We gotta make this thing bigger. So make sure you share, hit that notification bell, so we can build this group. We got to get bigger. All right. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all coming in. Lisa G. Lisa G. Don't be a stranger. Lisa, if you haven't been around with me before, I got two sisters, so I'm always interested in feedback from females. I'm always interested in the woman's point of view in the stuff that we talking about. I don't want to talk to guys all the time. So yeah, tell your girlfriends, invite your girlfriends that want to talk sports. I will talk sports. I'm that dude. So holla at me. Let me know. Nicholas, I appreciate you. Albert Jimenez, I appreciate you. Wody Mack, as usual, bro. Darren, keep bringing the heat, bro. I appreciate you. Everybody that was on the chat today. Andrew the GOAT, I know you're a New York fan, but I appreciate you nonetheless, bro. RC Iowa, I appreciate you. Carlos, as usual, brother. Everybody in the chat, man. We had a good time tonight, good conversation. I'm gonna get some ice cream and I'm gonna go to sleep. So yeah, enjoy the rest of y'all week and have a good week. And be safe because there's a lot of shit going on in the world, man. Tell your people you love them while they're here. Holla at y'all later. Peace.